Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to Let's Crack NEET. So we have started this new series called Talk with Toppers so that you can get to know them better. So here is the first topper I am presenting. She used to be my student. Her name is Aditi. So hi Aditi, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm currently in Philadelphia, so it's pretty bad with the whole coronavirus outbreak. But yeah, I'm okay. How are you?
So the same lockdown situation over there also, right?
Yeah, but it's not that bad. It's not as bad as India is.
But the number speaks for itself. मतलब यहाँ इंडिया से
Yeah,
तो
I
निकल
know,
गया
but
था.
it's strange how they don't. I mean, we're allowed to go to grocery stores and everything. So yeah,
अच्छा, that's not very मतलब कि बहुत ज़्यादा लॉकडाउन वाला सिचुएशन नहीं है कुछ ऐसा ना.
yeah.
चलो great. So Aditi, would you introduce yourself?
Okay. I studied in Cathedral and John Convent School initially until eighth grade, and then I shifted to New Delhi where I studied in Vasant Valley School. And after that, I came to the University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League school located in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Um, so a little bit about me. I sort of kept my options open in terms of going abroad and as well as studying in India. So I was preparing for NEET and AIMS while actually working on my applications and working on trying to apply abroad. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Okay, great. So, what were your scores like? मतलब, what was your entire journey to Pennsylvania? I guess it's among the top 5 universities in the world, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
चलो, great. So, how was your journey? मतलब, I know how much effort you have put in, so, but still, for the audience.
Okay, so I started off really early. I think eighth grade, I started preparing for my SATs. But also, just like Vasant Valley as a school really caters to people who actually want to go abroad and stay in India, so it's pretty convenient for me. So yeah, I started preparing for my SAT in the eighth grade, but it didn't go too well. I was giving quite a few practice tests, but I wasn't doing too well. So I decided that I would take it a little later, and I also prepared for the ACT at the same time. So I actually took both the tests.
You
I
have to
scored.
illustrate all this SAT and ACTs and
Oh
everything.
yeah, okay. Okay. So SAT or ACT is basically an aptitude test that most US colleges require. So you have to score above. Well, I think ideally you should be scoring above a 1450 if you want to go to a good college, and if you're looking at one of the top colleges, you want to score above a 1500. And in the ACT, the scale is different because it's out of 36, while the SAT is out of 1600. So in the ACT, you want to score ideally above a 34, and if you're looking at a really good college, then the 75th percentile is about 35. So it's the tests are hard enough as it is, so you really have to work um, quite hard to score in them. I know that a lot of people say that it's a cup of tea, but it's really not. And it takes a lot of time to get used to it, considering that the English curriculums are really different from what they teach in America here and as opposed to what they teach in India. So yeah, I took the SAT and I scored above a 1500, and I also took the ACT and scored above a 34. So it was pretty good for me. Um, and then I looked at whichever colleges I was looking to apply. So I was looking at the UCs, which are really high up, which is University of California, Berkeley, University of California, Los Angeles, and there are a couple of others. Their applications are separate, and then you have to apply through something called the Common App or the Coalition App. Basically, if you look it up, it's really easy to find. Which is most of the US colleges take that one. So yeah, I was just looking at US, but a lot of people look at Canada, which is really good too, and Australia as well, and Singapore, of course. Um, so yeah,
I
for me,
remember
I
you were
started
for
off.
NUS also, no? You had applied
Yeah,
for
I looked at
got into
Singapore.
that also, right?
Yeah, I actually decided on Singapore a little later because yeah, I think I'll get to that. So I took my SAT, I took my ACT, and after that they expect you to take 2 subject tests. But if you want to show yourself as a stronger applicant, obviously you're going to take more. Especially the Indian curriculum actually makes it easier for you to take subject tests because they teach you the stuff really early on compared to what America does. So I took chemistry, I took biology, I took physics, I took English literature, which was I think the hardest one I took. So yeah, I took all of these, and you want to score ideally a 700 plus or an 800, which is the highest score you can get. Which, and if you're an Indian, that trying to look at like your math 2 score, which is one of the tests you take, and you want to get an 800 in that test because nearly I think most Indians who are applying abroad get that 800. So you want to get that if you're looking at a really good university. So once I was done with that, The thing is that US applicants, all of them have great test scores, but you really need to look at what is apart from the test scores, because they don't really see a person beyond like the grades, which is very different from India, because I think that in India you really have to score really high, and that's what they're looking at. But US looks at what kind of a person you are in terms of what are you passionate about and what do you want to do, because they want people who want, like, I was very clear on what I wanted to do. I'm pre-med in my college right now, which means that I'm going to apply to med school after my 4 years of undergrad, and I'm looking at doing a STEM major. So yeah, so that's for me. And so I did my subject tests, then I took my APs, which are advanced placements. They're not necessary. I know there's a lot of debate about them. People are talking about how it's useless to take APs because US colleges don't like them, US colleges like them, whatever. I think that it was a decision that I made, and at the end of the day, it is an exam. If you can take it, why not, right? It is very costly in terms of like its delivery in India, and that's why people try to take as many as they can, excel in 100%. It's almost like if you're not getting a 4 or a 5 in an AP, there's really no point in taking it, because your entire AP transcript goes to the colleges. So you can't exclude any AP out of it. Um, I took physics, math, calculus, BC, which is the higher level of calculus, and biology. And I scored between 4s and 5s in all of them. So yeah, my test scores were pretty great. But apart from test scores, they were also looking at my essays, which you have to write at least like 30 if you're applying to good colleges, because it's really tiring. I think Stanford has 7 essays. So yeah, you have to write all of them. So you have to have something to write about. So I'm personally an international karateka, which means that I competed in the Commonwealth, Junior Asian Pacific World Championship. I won a gold in the World Championship, so I wrote a lot about that, because my training was like 8 hours a day, and it was pretty crazy. So yeah, I wrote about that, and also I built my application in terms of doing research. So I did a lot of research. I actually went all over. To hospitals, and I shadowed doctors, and I did some work. I know that as a student, you can't really do much, and they won't allow you to do much. And trying to fake how much you did they look through that really easily, because they've been doing this for more years than you've been alive. So you do not want to fake it, and you really have to try to do whatever you can. So yeah, that's kind of my journey.
Did you appear
Yeah.
for the NEET exam? I think you did not. Did you
No, I
appear
did
for?
not.
You did not, no? But
No,
you
I
have
did
seen
not.
the paper pattern of NEET exam and AIMS also. You have seen
Yes, I
the
have.
sample papers of NEET and AIMS. So
Yeah.
how do you compare with the SATs? Matlab, is there any relevance or any similarity between?
Okay. I think that there's a common chain between every multiple choice exam that you take in terms of how much you need to know. But in terms of NEET and AIMS, I think that there is a very strong like content based aspect that's going on in there, which you need before you actually form that application part. So that is quite different from the SAT, because the SAT has 2 sections. It has the English section and then the math section. For math, you do need to know the content, just like in NEET. Suppose you're taking like chemistry, you do need to know more concept, let's say, right? But in the English section, which is what Indians struggle with more than math, 100%, it's because it's very based on understanding what's going on and they're like interpreting what they're saying. But I think that that's hard because we haven't had practice in that aspect, right? So I think that that's the difference. Also, the SAT would be considered an easier exam by most people than NEET, because I mean, I think that the pressure just sort of makes NEET a lot harder,
Yeah,
because
number
you
of
can give the
aspirants also
essay more than
60 lakhs
once.
aspirants. So that is also the thing. So, but
Yeah,
again, the second thing that education there is expensive also, right?
yeah, it's
Not
quite
for you, I
expensive
guess.
if you don't. I'm
I guess.
sorry.
I guess it's not expensive for you, right?
No, it's not expensive for me. If you get like financial aid or a scholarship, then it's not expensive. But okay, so here's what the truth is, that if you work like 10 times harder than everyone else, then yeah, maybe you can get aid and a scholarship. But if you don't, then it's almost impossible to get it, and they might reject your application if you apply for aid and you're not good enough. So that's a really big problem.
And what is the amount of scholarship that they give? Matlab,
Okay,
percentage
yeah. So
wise.
depends on your parent. Yeah, I wouldn't want to disclose like clearly, but like depending on your parents' income, if they lie, but be like below $60,000 a year, they'll give you 100%. It's basically based on your parents' income. There's like yes, the merit aspect, it allows you to qualify for the scholarship, but then after that it's just totally based on how much your parents earn. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
that shouldn't
someone,
be
if he's not coming from a well-off family, so he might have a better chance of getting a scholarship.
right. But you also see, I think that there's a dichotomy there, right? Because you have to do really well, and the tests are expensive, and all these APs and SATs obviously take a lot more money than, let's say, a NEET or an AIMS, right?
It is
So
expensive.
yeah, that's kind of, yeah, that's the
Okay,
reality of it.
that's great. So, what would, if someone aspires to go to the US, matlab, if someone wants to go to the US, so what should his plan be like? Matlab, when should he start preparing? Be it class 9th itself, be it class 10th itself. So, what would be his course of action if someone wants to aspire to go to the US or name any, matlab, UK or US, anywhere?
Okay, yeah, UK, US, Singapore, Australia, and Canada, I know for sure. What you need to do is you do want to start early, because if you start late, it just builds so much pressure. Like, if you want to start, you want to take your SATs before you end 11th grade, because I think that 11th grade is generally easier. I was personally in the CBSE curriculum, so I finished my 10th grade. I did really well in my exams. I got a 10 CGPA, and then I went on to take my SATs, and I did well in that because I had that time to study. You also want to take, so basically before 11th grade, ideally start 10th grade. If you're done with your SATs or ACTs, you're great, like you're in very good shape. You want to take your subject tests, which are offered I think in October, which is when I took it, but you can take, I think they're offered like 3 4 times a year, so you can take them whenever. You can take 3 at a time, but if you're preparing for all 3 at the same time, I think it's pretty bad with the whole exams coming at the same time, etc. So you want to try to take it in a time where you don't have your exams clashing. um, Also, something I forgot to mention, you have to have absolutely brilliant school grades if you want to look at really good colleges, because they really want you to excel in your school curriculum. Like, if you're absent a lot, or if you're not going to school, and if that reflects in your like attendance, etc., they don't want you, because they want people who go to school, do excel well in school, and excel in everything else they do as well, right?
So, attendance and extracurricular activities plays a role.
Are extremely important. I could not stress them enough. But they're not more important than your grades. I think that a lot is sort of a discrepancy in what people say
And
about that.
does the quality of school also matter? Matlab, suppose you have to be from a premium school in India, or there is something a list like
No,
that.
I completely no. Actually, that's not true. That's not true at all. I think that there's people from all schools. Like, I've seen people from remote areas over here. I've seen people from like Bombay and Delhi and all these cosmopolitan cities. It doesn't matter which school you come from, as long as you do well in your own curriculum and you show that you can succeed within the niche that you were in. That matters a lot. Yeah.
Great.
Um,
So, so talking about your subject, neuroscience and mathematics, matlab, seems like a weird combination. Why neuroscience and mathematics both?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I came in as a biology major because I love biology. Um, and I'm still debating between whether I should do so basically in Penn you have a lot of majors, right? You have a lot of options. You don't have to pick until the end of something that's called your sophomore year, which means your second year, the end of your second year. So you don't have to pick your major, but you have to keep taking classes towards whatever you think your intended major is. So I came in as a biology major. I took one biology class, and then I also took a neuro class. And I was like, oh my god, I love the brain, and that's all I needed. That's all you need. You just have to love the brain, and you take neuro, and you have to get a certain GPA. It's out of a 4.0 scale, so you need a certain GPA to declare. You have to declare your major. So I declared I'm going to be declaring my major as neuroscience. I picked math because I've had a strange journey with math. I took physics, chemistry, math, and biology
Yeah.
in my 12th grade. I know that a lot of people were against this, including you, because it was a heavy workload. But I love math. I just do. And I have tried to deny my love for math so much, but I came to Penn, I took a math class, I loved it. I started tutoring math because I love math that much. And that's why I decided that I'm going to do math as well. So I'm double majoring in math and neuro.
So
Yeah.
eventually you are going to be a doctor only, matlab.
Yes.
Depending on the education system. Matlab, I know how much I aspired you to go to AIMS Delhi, how much I pestered upon you to go to AIMS Delhi. I know that to even take the exam. So I have been counseling you for
Right.
that, but you chose the other option.
Right.
So coming to that question, matlab, why didn't you choose AIMS Delhi? Now let's talk about that.
Ouch. Okay. Truth be told, I think that my heart always sort of was wavering between what you were telling me and what I was hearing and what my parents were telling me. And I really died under all of the things that were being told to me because they were like, oh, you're a good student. Like, you can definitely do this. And I was just like, oh my God, please stop. But I decided towards the US because I feel like I'm someone who really likes to do things which are outside of my curriculum. Like, I love singing and I love dancing and I love debating and I love all of these other things that I think that Ames Delhi would not have been able to provide me as much with. And I mean, I don't say that in any way to like criticize the curriculum, but it's just that I think that Penn allows you to do that a lot more. And also, I wanted to understand, like, I wanted to study a particular discipline before I went into med school. Like, I really wanted to pursue math further, and I really wanted to pursue like bio further before I actually just jumped straight in.
So
And I
they,
think that it gives me,
sorry
yeah,
to interrupt you. So they don't have any undergrad course for like what we have here is MBBS. So they don't have any course like that, core MBBS course or something like that at
they
your.
do actually, they do. Yeah, no, no, no. So I think if you look at Brown, which is another like co-Ivy League university, they have this program called PLME, which means that you're on an 8-year track straight to med school. Like you have to do the 4 years of undergrad, but you're going to med school after that. Penn has like all the other Ivies and all the other schools in the US or anywhere have something called a pre-med track, which basically means that you have to take this certain amount of like these certain courses in order to get into med school. So yeah, I think that
So
that's all
you
they
are
have.
on under that category, right? You are
Yeah,
under
yeah,
that pre-med category. Okay,
yeah.
great. So now coming to the whole point of this interview, that how do you compare the education system over there and here? You have seen both the sides of it. Okay, I
Right.
can well correlate with the Indian education system, and we have been debating for that over a longer period of time. So how do
Right.
you correlate them? Matlab, which education? Matlab, I'm not telling you to choose one. I'm just asking you
Right.
the differences between the education system, the approach, and everything, right?
Okay. Um, so I think the Indian education system, because I was in it and I've suffered through it and I've done well in it and whatever, I've just had my time with it. I think it's very focused on, so in certain subjects, it's looking a lot into technical skills and into like task based problem solving ability. And in certain subjects, it's looking into rote memorization, which I basically mean like learning something verbatim and, being able to write it down. And there's a lot of benefit in these skills. I will not deny it. It's helped me a lot since I've been here because I feel like in America these skills are not as heavily inflicted upon, so you don't get that benefit here. But Americans, like the system here, like let's say history, I feel like it's a subject that I could contrast very well. In India, you have to learn up, the answers and points, etc., of the book, right? But in America, they'll ask you to write an essay or a critical essay on something, some topic, but you can't just like write down facts, right? You have to actually like come up with something. And I know that a lot of people might think that that's not good because what's the point? But there is a point because when you come here and you have to write research papers and you have to write academically in case because you're not doing med school directly, right? You have these 4 years. You have to like put papers into all of these classes that you have to put in your curriculum, etc. So it really benefits you to think like that. Another thing that the Indian system does is that it's really good at like subjects like math, physics. It's really good in, I don't know about like 11th and 12th, like in terms of history and sociology. I know that my friends really did well in that and they really liked it. But I can't comment on that as much. I can only comment on the ones I did. But when you come here, you'll see that they emphasize a lot on like class participation, on like presentations and etc. in certain classes. So you don't have like the support that you have in India in terms of all your tutors and you have your teachers and you have all of this support system. They sort of pull the ground out of your feet in America and they're like figure it out. But they also have like teachers to help you through office hours and tutoring, etc. So it's like a weird difference.
Matlab, they are more focused towards your analytical skills rather than you mugging up things. In short, if
Right, of course. And I think that I'm a little bothered by something like I'm tired of a stereotype that I get over here a lot. They're like, you're an Indian, you can memorize everything, you have like all of these technical skills, etc., etc. Like at the end of the day, if you're looking at coming to America, I know that a part of you wants to run something, right? You don't want to be a part of something, like you don't want to be a cog in a machine. You want to actually be able to like run your own company or your own thing. So I think that this system really helps you to do that.
great. So I know what your routine was like. So would you like elaborate on that? How your daily routine was like when you're preparing for the exam? Every aspirant would relate to that. If you want to be successful, they will have to follow a very steady routine. So what was your daily routine like? Matlab,
Like which exam? If you can like give me one in particular, like the
any
SAT.
exams for when you're preparing for NEET slash SATs.
Uh, okay. Cool. So basically, it's like for NEET, I had to learn up everything, and I had to know my biology textbook by heart, and I had to know how to solve all my chemistry problems. And you would come home and you'd be like, if I don't know this stuff, I'm dead. So, yeah. So I think that for NEET, etc. I try to do it like in the morning. I feel like it's easier for me to memorize things in the morning, and also just like solve problems because I feel like before 12 o'clock you want to get in like 3 to 4 hours of studying. It really helps me a lot. Um, and for SAT, you have to like dedicate like 3 hours or 4 hours in order to do the test. But it's not important just to solve. It's also important to like analyze your mistakes because if you don't do that, you're just gonna be stuck at the same score forever. So you want to start like I started 6 months before my exam, and I took all of the practice tests in the college board book. I also like ordered this other book, which I think I found really helpful, which is the Black Book. It was really helpful for SAT, and I think they have one for ACT as well. So as much practice as you can get in, as many practice tests as you can do with analyzing, because if you don't do it with analyzing, it doesn't count. And you have to okay, so it's like you want to do NEET, you want to do SAT, and you want to be doing well in school. If you do badly in school, you're screwed. There's no way you're getting in anywhere if you're bad at school, right? So you want to put all of your time for school, like you want to keep doing it little by little. I know I'm a procrastinator. I know what it's like to sit down one day before you're like all of your assignments are due and try to do them all together. It makes you stressed, and it made me gain so much weight. Just like being so stressed, it's not worth it. Like just do a little every day, and you should be good. I promise. Yeah.
Great. So, what was your last day strategy before exam? Matlab, how was your routine before you appeared for the exam? A day before your exam, illustrate.
Okay, I know that a lot of people say that a day before your SAT exam, that it's like you shouldn't do anything and you shouldn't practice anything. For me personally, I got an 800 on my math section in the SAT. But what I did was that one day before, I sat with my dad and I sort of just looked over like questions I'd done in the past just to understand the concepts. Um, but and like for an SAT, just in particular, last day prep is nothing. You cannot do anything. You will not succeed at it, right? And I'm sure that it's the same for like NEET or aims. Like one day before the exam, you can't really do anything, right? So you want to start preparing earlier than that. And if you do prepare one day before, like I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a miracle worker or what, but I couldn't do it, and I don't know anyone else who can. So if you can, like that's great,
Now,
but I wouldn't recommend it.
suppose if a student has prepared properly, what should
Right?
be his approach a day prior to exam? Be
Don't
it
stress.
current or be it SATs. I think the approach would be the same for everyone.
Right. So first up, don't stress. Secondly, don't do any new questions. Just go over like old questions that you've done before. And also just like keep all your things in order in terms of like admit cards, etc. I feel like a lot of people have problems with this stuff, so you want to get all of that in order. And don't like I think that like don't like go watch a movie one day before your SAT. I know that people say that, but I feel like it just distracts you from
Correct.
the purpose, right? So I think that just having like a normal day in terms of just like staying home and not doing anything that's very strenuous should be good. Um and if it's like the English section, you want to just like not do anything with that because it doesn't matter how much you look at like passages, etc. So that's for me. Yeah, but if it's like biology or anything, you really want to go through your textbook one time and just maybe make like a page of summary notes. That's what I used to do. That really helps me.
Yeah, you were very good at note making also. Matlab, you had
Yeah,
this
I was
tools
obsessed.
that I had been using for my other students also. I remember that. So, emphasize on that. Matlab, how did you prepare NCRT notes? Yeah, on that note, your notes were very fantastic. So, what was
Okay.
the, matlab, how did you prepare your NCRT notes?
Right. So I think that with NCRT, you want to know. So I think it's really like clever that book because it puts in so much more content that you actually see. Like on first glance, you'll think like, oh, okay, it's easy, but it's really not. Like you really want to write down everything. So what I used to do is I used to read it one time over, and I know that I would miss a lot, right? Because if you just read it, it doesn't go into your head. So I would read it one time over. Then the second time, I would sort of like look at each paragraph and see, okay, what's the question that could come for this paragraph, right? So my notes were mostly like I would write down a question and then I would write down all the points under that question, right? So like it can be the most like strangest question, like what is the plant that does this particular function in this particular place, right? So you want to write down that whole thing and then write down the answer, because even in those convoluted lines of the NCERT, you have like a fact involved that they can ask you about. Like, I remember there was like 2 lines in my textbook that in my board exam, like in my bio board exam, I got a 99. But like, I remember that one question that screwed me over. It was because I didn't read those like 2 lines carefully. But
Which
yeah,
was
it's
that
okay.
that biennial thing, no? Biennial or annual thing, no?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember.
I think that was the question that you missed out, no?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is it. Thank you so much for your wonderful time.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you so much for
And
having me.
again, all the very best. I always aspired you to do it from AIMS Delhi, but again, irrespective of the fact, you're doing great. And in fact, I got to learn a lot of biology from you also. I would admit that.
I
Matlab,
hope to make you proud.
the syllabus is very different. So,
Yeah,
I
it is.
completely understand that. I still remember the time I asked you that question, that graph thing, which I was unaware of.
The crime suspect one, the DNA
Yeah,
fingerprinting one.
the
Yeah.
DNA fingerprinting one. So we have not done anything like that, no. So that way, uh, so,
It's
so
fun, yeah.
it was great talking to you, Aditi, after such a long
Thank
time.
you.
And any last message for NEET aspirant, for my students, what would you say?
Oh, okay. I think that I would say that I think I've researched this a lot personally speaking. So I want to just like talk about like what will help you like learn things better. Um, it's two things. It's like I looked it up. So it's like spaced repetition and active recall. I use it now to like do neuro, and I know that that would work for NEET, which basically means that you wanna like if you learn anything. I personally wanted to learn the entire NCRT like page for page, and I think I did that before
Yeah,
my
almost.
board exam.
You had
Yeah,
memorized it.
yeah, so I didn't do that because I have a great memory. It was more like I sat with it for so long. So every day I would look at it. Day one, I would look at it, and then I would like try to say it or memorize it. There's no point in sitting and reading the textbook over and over. So I think that if you like try to look at it and then recite paragraphs without actually like reading it verbatim, and then you do that 3 days later and then 7 days later, it's better to like put in like more time spaced out as opposed to like all your time in one day. And like that's why like flashcards etc work a lot with like biology and all the fraction like p block elements, my god, in chemistry, all of that stuff. So yeah, spaced repetition and then actively recalling, which means that you should be able to recite whatever you're thinking.
Matlab,
So
the
yeah.
whole point of it is that you should revise multiple number of times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my dad was obsessed with this, but like I would not listen to him very well. But like I would do 5 revisions before I did my NEET exam and my IMS exam if I actually took it. So
You
yeah.
must have completed your syllabus, I think, by the end of class 11th only.
Yeah, I know because you were like pushing me to do
Your
that.
biology portion
That's
was completed
happening.
before class 11th only. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was great talking to you, Aditi. All the very best and stay safe during this Corona period. We'll
Yeah, I
catch
hope to come home
you. Sure,
soon.
sure,
See
sure.
you.
All the very best. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
So, guys, that was Aditi for you. I hope you had a wonderful session and you have learned a lot. गाइज अगर आप नीट की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और या आप एस्पायर कर रहे हैं कि आपको अब्रॉड जाना है या मेडिकल की पढ़ाई करनी, किसी भी प्रकार की मेडिकल की पढ़ाई करनी है, तो यू कैन गेट इनरोल टू आवर अनअकैडमी सब्सक्रिप्शन प्लेटफॉर्म. यहाँ पे इंडिया के टॉप 40 प्लस एडुकेटर्स आपको इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे पढ़ाते हैं, दैट टू लाइव. तो आप बिल्कुल इंडिया के टॉप फैकल्टीज से पढ़ सकते हैं, इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे लाइव पढ़ सकते हैं और साथ के साथ आप दोनों एग्जाम की तैयारी कर सकते हैं मेरे मेंटरशिप के अंदर. राइट, तो यहाँ पे मेरे बहुत सारे कोर्सेज चल रहे हैं विच इज कंप्लायंट टू बोथ दिस कोर्सेज. मतलब आप साथ के साथ नीट की भी तैयारी कर सकते हैं, आप साथ के साथ बाकी आपके एसएटीज की भी तैयारी कर सकते हैं. तो आप ये दोनों काम साथ के साथ कर सकते हैं हमारे इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे. आप इस कोर्स में एनरोल कर सकते हैं. इस कोर्स में एनरोल करने के लिए आपको अनअकैडमी का ऐप इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा एंड you can take a subscription of 12 months or 24 months. The price of the 12-month subscription is 30,000 and the price of the 24-month subscription is 36,000. You can apply a referral code ANAND and you will get an instant 10% discount. तो जैसे आप ये referral code आनंद अप्लाई करेंगे सब्सक्रिप्शन पैकेज पे, आपको 10% का डिस्काउंट मिल जाएगा. प्लस यू विल कम डायरेक्टली अंडर द मेंटरशिप एंड आपको अनअकैडमी के सारे लेक्चर्स अवेलेबल हो जाएंगे. ऑल दीज लेक्चर्स आर लाइव एंड यू कैन इवन गेट द रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ ऑल दीज लेक्चर्स. So I'll see you in classes. Bye bye and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys. वीडियो पसंद आया तो वीडियो को लाइक कर लेना, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो अगर अभी तक नहीं किया, एंड बेल आइकन दबा दीजिए ताकि कोई आप नोटिफिकेशन मिस ना करें हमसे. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस regarding the Unacademy subscription or regarding the SATs exam or regarding your NEET exam, you can mention in the comment section. We can do more sessions like this. If you have any such question, we can do a live Q&A session also. So do post your response on the comment section. I'll see you in classes. Bye bye. Take care.